meeting compliance pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231. Public Laws of 1975, this meeting has been duly advertised in the South Jersey Times and the Sentinel. The municipal clerk of the township has been duly notified and the requirements of posting of notices have been met. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to appoint the school business administrator, board secretary, myself as the chairperson pro tem?
I'll second.
That was you, Michelle, the second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Moving on to C1 on the agenda, we will review the election results. All 3 seats are for 3-year terms. Michelle Cunningham, 3,824 votes. Barbara Doherty, 3,739 votes. And Chrissy Bellis as a write-in with 125 votes. Congratulations, everybody. Welcome back to Michelle. So at this point, we will do our oath of office for Ms. Doherty and Ms. Cunningham. At your seats, you should have the read aloud portion. Yep. So I'll ask you to stand. Again, anything that does say so help you God, you can choose to say that should you wish. If not, it's up to you.
Chris, you want to take pictures of this?
Yes, please. We'll go by the read aloud. I'll start, repeat after me, and insert your name, obviously. I won't say mine. I
Barbara Doherty,
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States and this state
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
So help me God.
so help me God.
I
I, Barbara Doherty,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1,
that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18A:12-1,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in New Jersey statute out of 18A:12-1,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
So
help me God.
if you wish. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now we will do the roll call of the board. Thank you, Alicia, for taking pictures. Grant?
Here.
Trace? Here. Keen? Fregoso?
Here.
Doherty?
Here.
Cunningham?
Here.
Caselli?
Here.
We have a quorum. Continuing on with the meeting. The next portion of the meeting is the election of board officials. Do I have a motion to open the floor for nominations of president?
Make the motion.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
The floor is open for nominations. Would anybody like to verbally or write down a nomination for board president?
Yes. I'd like to nominate Jason Brandt to continue as board president for the next term.
Thank you.
Any other nominations on the floor? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the nominations for board president?
Motion to close?
Second? Anybody?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Noted.
Well, I'm good, my seat, thank you very much.
We'll take a vote first.
Yeah, that was
That's
the
just-
motion to close?
That was
I'm sorry,
the-
yeah, I'm jumping the gun.
Roll call vote for nominating Mr. Jason Brandt as the president of the Board of Education. Caselli?
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
Fregoso?
Yes.
Keen? Absent, sorry. Trace?
Yes.
Brandt?
Yes,
Motion carries. Congratulations.
thank you, I'm sorry, I was made the assumption that you guys were gonna go with that.
You can now take your chair and you will be able to conduct the
Sure.
remainder of the meeting.
So before we move on, 2 quick points of notice. You'll see Troy isn't with us this evening. Unfortunately, he's home sick. Did test negative, right, Trish, for
Yes.
COVID, but he nevertheless didn't want to attend. And also, you see Mrs. Bellis is here in the audience. If you're wondering why she wasn't sworn in, she was a victim of the snowstorm. Unfortunately, her fingerprints were scheduled for the day of the snowstorm and had to be canceled. So unfortunately, we'll have to swear her in at our upcoming meeting on the 24th. So. With that, our next item on our agenda is election of board vice president. So at this time, I make a motion to open the floor for nominations. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Are there any nominations for vice president at this time?
I nominate Leah Caselli, Vice President.
Okay. Any others?
I nominate Diane Trace.
Any others? Hearing none, I make a motion to close the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none. How do we want to call this roll? We have 2 nominations.
Can I reject my nomination?
You surely can.
Yeah, I'd reject it. Thank you, Deb.
I was going to vote for it.
Me too. Noted that the only nomination now on the floor is Ms. Leah Caselli, the vice president. Roll call votes. Cunningham?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
Fregoso?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes.
Caselli?
Yes.
Brandt?
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right, moving on, we have our reorganization items. I'm sorry, president appointments real quick. Gloucester County School Boards Association, delegate. I know we talked about this at our last meeting, that Leah was interested in that. So if there's no other volunteers, I'll designate Leah as a delegate. Is there any interest from anyone for an alternate position on that? Basically just involves, attending the meetings.
How many meetings?
At the county. They're usually monthly, correct? So there's no requirement. So if you're interested in attending any of it at all, I mean, we can designate you as the alternate if you'd like.
I'll go.
Okay.
Chrissy?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
All right.
As the
Can I-
alternate?
Yeah, can we delegate someone? Yeah, Becky puts in there.
Conditioned upon her
Yeah.
Right.
coming through.
So Leah is delegate and Ms. Bellis as alternate?
Yeah, there's no limit to the number of people that can go, so all 3 of you guys can go.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah. We can all go to that matter, but.
Jason usually drives me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna drive you, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's
No,
what
Casey can
the
drive us.
alternate does.
No, you can drive us?
Yeah.
The meetings are actually kind of interesting to go
They're
to
nice.
for anybody who hasn't been to one.
You learn
They
a
usually
lot.
have them at a different, venue every month, right? And they serve dinner and stuff like that, so. And then also, Newfield liaison, I guess we can delegate,
I'll do it.
for the delegate, yeah. I mean, there's really no meetings, there hasn't been for years, so if you want to do that, and Mrs. Doherty will put you as the alternate,
Okay.
but you don't have to do anything, so. Unless they decide to hold meetings. So moving on, reorganization items, 1 through 12. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those items, and are there any questions regarding any of those?
You should have code of ethics, in front of you, if you wouldn't mind signing that and dating that, and then giving that to me before, I have 4 papers in front of me.
I just have a question, about the meeting dates.
Yes.
I know in the past, several times we talked about making sure there were enough work sessions throughout the year. We've come in a few times where we felt rushed to do things, but we didn't have time to meet, we only met once a month, and I see that in this, what's proposed, there aren't more work sessions. So is that something you talked to Troy about, Jason, is like?
This calendar, we, myself, Troy, and Trish reviewed prior to the end of last year. It basically, essentially follows the calendar that we had followed in 2021. So this is what was presented by the administration. I didn't see any objection to it. It does have the work sessions and certain relevant times around budgetary preparation, and then around the superintendent's evaluation. So yeah, we did, to answer your question, it was discussed.
We didn't add any though.
I
I think we should add some.
interject any.
I agree. I mean, we had issues this year, we've had issues in the past when we,
It doesn't have to be every month,
No.
but, I mean,
and it's a lot easier to cancel it than to try and make sure everyone is free
right,
when we need a meeting.
right.
What months would you wanna see?
Well, definitely June, which we have. I'd like to see even February prior to, because we're in the realms of budget planning.
We don't get state aid numbers though until like the day before, so there's not much more to update.
September, when we first come back, a lot of times Troy is trying to get us to approve new staff quickly because staff has left or they need replacement. We only have 1 meeting in September.
We only have one in October, one in November, one in December. At least, I mean, what month was it that we were frantic? What was that?
Over the summer. I can't remember which one. I agree with Alicia. I think we should at least add 1 or 2. Like I said, it's a lot easier to cancel a meeting than it is to sometimes correlate all our schedules.
Can we
and
add that
a
in
meeting.
September?
I mean, it's our calendar. We can adjust wherever we want.
Well, does anyone else have
Consensus on the
an
board.
opinion about this? Do you know?
I mean, I don't really, I feel the opposite, that I'd rather add meetings than cancel meetings, because if we cancel them, it appears that, you know, in my mind at least, there's a perception that, you know, we're not following through with the calendar that we set. So if there's a necessity, you know, I don't have a problem adding them, but just to add meetings, to add them.
It's not just to add them, it's, sometimes our meetings are hours long, you could be more efficient if we just had another meeting, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, a lot of times we'll have our work sessions that are hours long, and then we go to our regular meeting and we're out in 10 minutes. It's 6 of one, half of those of the other, in my opinion. I mean, I'm comfortable with the calendar as is, but if you guys want to make a motion to add the meetings, if there's consensus on, go ahead and check that.
I would request November and December not be included for additional meetings.
No, I don't think we need to put this on.
Yeah.
Between the
Just
holidays,
two
the
packets.
NJSB,
And October
that's
is
why it's
scheduled
in there, that's why we never
this one
really
for
did it.
JSBA.
Yeah.
That's why October.
but I definitely think September would be a good month with the onset of the school year.
I would agree, so,
So what date in September do you propose?
Let's see, it looks good.
The Wednesday before,
Typically, we do have followed the Wednesday, Monday
Mhm.
schedule.
so it'd be September 14th.
Could it be earlier than that, right?
No.
no, then what's it, September 19th, and then, no, it's September 14th.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Yeah, September 14th.
So that's what you propose? proposal?
That's my proposal, yes.
Okay. Anything else on the calendar? Or-
I mean, I would think I would want another one, but if no one else wants it, then whatever.
I'll move to September.
Yeah. I'm happy with just one more then.
Okay. Was there any other questions on any other of the reorg items?
I mean,
Good, everyone's good? Sorry.
Do we need to make a motion or after the?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, yeah.
For the thing, yeah. So no other questions?
no.
If not, I'll make a motion to approve reorganization items E1 through E12 with the modification of the calendar, adding a work session September 14th, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any other questions or comments on any of those items? Not being called roll, Trish.
Caselli?
Yes.
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yeah.
Doherty?
Yes.
Fregoso?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, we do have an executive session this evening, but before we go into executive, for some reason this agenda doesn't have our first public portion, so I'll just go ahead real quick and open to the public in case there's anybody that would like to make a comment and doesn't want to stay till the end of the meeting. So I make that motion, 6:17 to open to the public. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Is there anyone from the public who'd like to comment this evening on the agenda items or any other item for that matter? Please step forward.
Harry Kennedy, 1578 Bridesmill Road, Franklinville, New Jersey. Just congratulations, Barbara.
Thank you.
I know it's been a long sip of water between service.
Between terms, yes.
Yes, but you might even top me for amount of time between service. But in any case, the board is lucky to have Barbara. She's someone that's very thoughtful, perceptive, and brings tons of experience to the board in both an administrative and a board role, which is a rare commodity to have both. And I'm sure she'll be a thoughtful participant.
I'm gonna blush, I'm gonna blush.
And congratulations also, although I do not know her, congratulations to win as a write-in against somebody that had served for many years and was supported by many members on the board. And to overcome that and to be elected is truly an accomplishment. Best of luck to you, and I'm sure you'll be a thoughtful and participative member, and congratulations. It's great to see fresh new blood and new people with not even enough people being willing to run and having to have write-ins. And the same thing on the Delsey board. It's great to see people here. It's great to see from last meeting when there was so much contention and so much disagreement, to see someone nominate someone that they had opposed even sitting on the board at the last meeting. It's truly kumbaya. It's great to see in Franklin Township. Only here could it happen. It's so nice to see the spirit of service that takes place. And Jason, congratulations on your re-election, and best of luck to the board and to all the residents of Franklin Township, because oh my God, what a difficult year. I just have one question, Jason. I was reading, as I am wont to do, many of the articles in the North Star Ledger on NewJersey.com, and they talked about the unification of districts. Is there anything in terms of money or grants or studies that is going on to talk about the Delsey Franklin merger at this time, or is that something that has not been officially considered?
Let me just clarify your question. Is there money available? Is that your question?
Well, I
Or have you
know
considered-
they said there's money available, and they said that over 70 districts around the state had applied to do it in terms of the unification of those districts. I don't know whether, in fact, I'll ask the same question to Delsey later on tonight. I don't know whether a grant was applied for by either Delsey or Franklin. And I know as a former board member and former mayor that those discussions were held in the past. I don't know if they're being held now or if there were any applications made for any grants to do that. Or you don't want to discuss it?
No, I can tell you what I know, and I'll have Michelle Cunningham chime in because she was in attendance as well at some of the meetings that we had. But previously we had I don't know what we were calling it, but basically like a joint session between ourselves, Delsey's Regional, Newfield, and Elk Township was involved in the conversation as well. I believe we may have had 2 meetings, and Mike, I don't know if you can remember either. I can't remember the specific dates, but we did meet and we discussed, in theory, the concept, but nothing ever transpired out of those meetings that I'm aware of. And if somebody can chime in and give me some detail on what the outcome of those meetings were.
Basically, there were no resolutions to the meeting at all. There was a lot of discussion, specifically from Newfield, in regards to where they were. A lot of history discussion, but nothing really came of where someone was going to take the reins and apply for the grant, or look to see who might want to take part in the grant. And as far as I know, we haven't heard anything in regards to, the meetings were held at Delsey.
Right.
Pierre was kind enough to host it, but was adamant that she was not running the meeting. But it was basically, it was informative to the idea of why Newfield, I think, is eager to do this. But it really didn't come to any type of resolution or what we felt. We also had the senator, was it the senator that came down?
I don't think it
Somebody that
was a
worked in his
representative
office.
of the senator.
Yeah, a representative of one of the senators who did the grant, right, who initiated that came. And one of the things that we kept coming into was the idea that we have, because Newfield is sending and we're sending,
Right.
we're kind of in our own little island with the other districts that are talking about doing consolidation, or I might not even be using the right word. So we seem to always come to an impasse as to exactly where we need to go. There were some questions that were raised to him that he didn't know the answers to, and
Right.
he was would need to go back and get the answers, but I don't know that anybody ever even followed up to get
No,
those
that's fine.
answers. But that's about as much, I mean, like I said, there was really no pathway
Right.
that was drawn out from those meetings as to where we would go. Any of us, in terms of, no district stood up and said,
Yeah, we really want, and
Yeah.
again, having been there, unfortunately, along the way for, at least on the advisory committee, when Franklin was talking about taking over Delsey and Elk and, the other conversations that went on, you're right, it's a very protracted discussion, but again, when the opportunity presents itself, am I correct in assuming that you would not be adverse to at least taking a look at it if a grant was available to study it? Is that an assumption I can make, or am I incorrect?
Yeah, no, I think that's a correct assumption.
we have
yeah.
some new board members, but previously, we've discussed the fact that we're open to finding out if it's something that's,
Something that's financially and
Yes,
educationally
absolutely.
feasible.
Exactly,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't make any sense not to.
No, they're talking about consolidating the entire Salem County system into one superintendent and one school district. And I mean, a long time ago, and I know this would impact some people on the board, they talked about including Clayton in it as well as Newfield, in terms of just a geographical reality with Elk, Clayton, Franklin, Newfield together in one regional district. Again, no jumping to conclusions, no perceptions on my part, but again, the fact that exciting opportunities might exist out there to do something that people have longed to do for a long period of time in terms of the educational benefits for people. I mean, just the thought of having one child study team, of having one superintendent instead of 3 or 4 is absolutely not Mike's benefit, but one solicitor. Again, the benefits in terms of savings are absolutely astronomical, and at least are things that should be thought about. But again, far out of my purview. You people are now the present group that is serving all of us, and thank you. It was great to see the camaraderie that existed tonight, and people getting together despite some rather virulent arguments in the previous meeting. Congratulations to all of you, and hope you have a great and productive year.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Nancy Kennedy, 711 Sage Street. I just wanted to say congratulations to Michelle and Barbara and Chrissy. You were all elected. by the voters of Franklin Township. Clearly, they have confidence in you, as do I, and I'm sure you will do a great job for the district, so thank you. I did want to ask the board, and not to put any pressure, or it doesn't have to be tonight, but as all of you know, meeting attendance with residents able to attend is probably at an all-time low at all of our meetings. And I would just ask the board to consider the fact that with the pandemic, it can be extremely difficult for people to get out and to consider possibly opening the meetings up again for remote option. And I know that, you know, God forbid, even if any of you were to get sick, I mean, it would be nice to have something in place so that if there is something that's out of the ordinary, the voices of the people who were elected to serve the township can still be heard, and certainly that the residents could still be heard. I know if Facebook's any indication, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about how things should be handled. And it would be nice to have an outlet for them that's productive, instead of some of the back and forth that we see. So again, thank you all very much. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Actually, I have some I have two things actually. Chrissy Bellis, 51 Kirsten Drive. So I have 4 kids in the district. One is at Rudder, one is at Meeting Road. Now, last month, mailings got sent home with my 5th grader about critical race theory, voter suppression. Is that something that was approved by the district that they're passing out? Is that something that was from the principal that he passed out throughout the school? Because I know other teachers and grades got those booklets. Is that something that
I mean, it wasn't something that was knowingly approved by this board. But
I have a question. Is that the literature that was printed and paid for by the New Jersey Bar Association?
I think so.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was aware of this as well, and people came to me asking,
Yeah.
aren't you? I said, I'm not on the board yet. I'm not on the board yet.
Did you ask the
But
principal?
yeah, I mean,
Did I
this
Did you
stuff
ask the
was
principal?
passed out.
I didn't.
yeah, I mean, the
I
proper
would start there.
change, yeah, it would be, you know, essentially follow up with the teacher. If you don't get a response there, then follow up with the principal.
Okay.
And then obviously,
I know it was school-wide.
you can bring it to the superintendent, and then obviously, as a member of the public, you can bring it to the board, but I'm not aware of it. I don't think any other board members are aware of what
Okay.
you're.
I have a son in 5th grade, and
Referring to.
if he got it, he unfortunately threw it away.
Okay, and mine brought it home because he knew what it was, and he was like, Mom, they're handing this stuff out in school now. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I knew that. So I didn't know if, so the principals can basically just approve whatever they're gonna hand out in their school, is that how that goes?
Not necessarily, but the principal would be the first place to get a clarification on, you know, who's handing it out and exactly. I mean, it's hard for me to, I don't know the material.
Yeah, I should
you're
call the books,
referring
because
to.
there are 2
Yeah.
different booklets that were handed out. It wasn't just like a piece of paper, they were like booklets.
Yeah, so.
Okay, and then the other question today, Main Road, my daughter said this morning Morley showed them videos of proper masking and what to do with your mask and how to wear your mask. I mean, do we really think at almost 3 years in, that's what we need to be wasting our school time with? Is showing our kids masking videos? I mean,
But again, I mean, I don't have any specific
so that's
knowledge of
principal,
day-to-day
it's all
operation.
principal stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Alright, that was it, just, okay.
Anyone else from the public? If not, I make a motion to close the public portion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed, abstentions? Before we go into executive session, just a quick note. Regarding that Newfield, Doherty, Franklin situation, I'm not sure if the members of the public know, but it's public information. Newfield has actually moved to engage in a study with Pittsburgh Township, unbeknownst to us, and I'm assuming unbeknownst to the Doherty district. So, and we actually sent a letter. Would that letter be public, or is that?
Okay, sure, there's nothing secret about it. I sent a letter to Pittsburgh commissioned the study. They're the ones that initiated it.
Right.
To see whether they should consolidate with Newfield. So I sent a letter to Pittsburgh, Newfield, Delsey was in agreement with my letter as well. County superintendents and so forth, indicating that we're assuming that if they're going to do a study, we're going to be involved. Otherwise, it can't be valid. If you're not going, if you're going to do feasibility of Pittsburgh and Newfield joining, you have to do a feasibility of whether the current situation is the most feasible and the most beneficial. Especially since you have Newfield surrounded by Franklin and
Right.
you know, and so forth. So yes, that letter did go out. I've seen no response to it.
Okay. we're not open to the public anymore, Mr. Kennedy, but there's a quick comment?
Just one quick comment. Having dealt with Newfield in terms of my service on the Delsey board, Newfield will always and forevermore be looking for a lower rate to send their students. And with schools now losing students, a loss of students at Delsey, even though it's at the below cost of what the Franklin Township resident and Elk Township resident pays, would still have a deleterious effect, and I would imagine the same thing would happen here. As long as you have a declining enrollment, Newfield has the ability, or at least thinks it does, to shop around to try to get the lowest rate from any adjoining district. So again, you're very, very well played to be involved in any discussions that take place, because it certainly impacts you and your staffing and everything else in terms of the way they try to play the game. So you want to be informed as to anything that's happening, and I commend you for being on top of it. Thank you.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I just want to thank the members of the public for attending, and maybe you can encourage more people to come out.
We don't usually get a large public attendance. When they start screaming and yelling at you, you'll wish they weren't. So with that, we're going to move into executive session to discuss human resources and some negotiations issues. So I make a motion to go on executive at 6:32. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Are we going to go in the back or are we going to stay here?
We'll probably stay here and ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Bill, keep that running.